Good afternoon. We're bringing back the white magic, lo-fi hip-hop, and visuals to get you into the proper state of mind. A trance state, perhaps. How are you doing? I hope you're having a great day. Interesting things happening in these last days. We all want to follow our calling. It's my 25th anniversary since graduating college. They asked me by text what advice I have for graduating seniors. I said, follow your dreams. It sounded so trite. I'm attempting to do that. We're certainly being provocative today, but I have been talking about it. I'm not being deceitful. It's great to have you here. Great for the love and support. Love and light to everyone. Thanks for joining me for the early morning streams, the sunrise streams. Today we saw the sunrise. We talked to somebody out there, homeless person. We like talking to homeless people the best. That's actually our favorite thing to do. Most of them love Jesus, which I do too. Just get that out of the way. And I have on my cross for protection, but also to show my love and support for the true champion, Jesus Christ, who runs this place. But we want to talk about his brother today also, and maybe talk about the news. We'll see. I mean, who the hell knows? I don't know what's happening on this show. We have a calling. We want to follow our calling to the best of our abilities. We've gone through an interesting sequence of events to get to where we are today. I should say. I don't know about you. Thanks for your feedback on the show lately. Thanks for the positive feedback. Thanks for people who say I'm doing well, looking good, grounded, etc. I appreciate that. Positive affirmations always feel good. It always feels good when people have nice things to say. But today we're challenging that. By being quite provocative and quite serious. Lucifer. It's really questionable what that entity is. So we'll get into that on the show. I'm thinking of it as a particular. It's not. There's no mention of anything called Lucifer in the Bible, as far as I know, and I have looked into it. The original King James translation used the word Lucifer, meaning the light bringer, in Isaiah, speaking of the king, not talking about Satan or devil or even a fallen angel, but talking about a human being. And people seem to have translated that. It's one of my favorite passages of the Bible. We'll visit that for sure. Isaiah. Let me find that right now while you're getting in the mood. KDD says, when you say we, it makes me feel like you're referring to your altars, which is fine. Thank you. Yes, there are many of us. And Doge is here. And with every show, I want to acknowledge those who have battled in this fight for humanity, those who have fought for humanity and have passed on, and which there are many just that I personally knew over my time 10 years of doing this, struggling through, trying to follow my instincts, follow God's will, and reveal what truths I can, including what would be considered hidden truths. Things which were not meant to be shared. If you worship Lucifer, that's supposed to be a secret, I believe. We reveal secrets here, government conspiracies, but maybe heavenly secrets too. Perhaps. I have been touched. I believe. I have had some experiences. I was led through some experiences, and I had to go through some very painful trials and tribulations, many of which were brought on because I disobeyed our Father in heaven. I did not understand the need to obey, and I sought, in some cases, for which I had to sacrifice personal gain. I did things for myself rather than for others, and for that I was punished. So, and my Father has forgiven me, and that's good enough for me. I'm enjoying this Zoom. I'm enjoying it so much I've left it up for like 7 minutes. How's everybody doing? We're on the right timeline today, I believe, based on going out in the world and following the plan, the cosmic plan, the plan which is programmed into us from before our births. Our destiny? It's very complicated. Do we have free will? Seems like it. Seems like we're able to make choices. It seems as if I'm able to choose the words that come out of my mouth. I try not to be honest. I started practicing that during my practices, which was saying the first thing that came to my head, whatever it might be, and finding it to be quite eloquent often. Words that come not from me, but from something else, something that we would, something hopefully good. So we try to bring goodness here. And we seek to be of service. So remember those who came before. We're going to be talking about Isaac Cappy, I think, a little bit in the future. We're rebuilding from scratch once again. Back out of the mental institution once again. But hopefully this time for the last time. We are in interesting times, I believe. I just have sensations. Felt some kind of strange discomfort today. I've been feeling a little bit of something going on personally or within my being. So, but want to know what to talk about. Like the news, for example, following the news is not always fulfilling because it changes day to day and it's not necessarily cosmically meaningful, everything that happens. But maybe Bitcoin isn't cosmically meaningful either. I talk about that. I believe that's a technology from the future, from our alien race. I think maybe Enoch had something to do with it. Megatron, the blockchain. It seems like the Book of Life or the Akashic Records were the original blockchain, where everything is written down sequentially as it happens. Every thought, every action, everything that happens on this planet is logged in some kind of cosmic book or blockchain, maybe. Is it wrong to worship things? Is it wrong to like things like God thinks it is or did think it is? Is it wrong to like technology? Is it? Because God thought so. He destroyed the earth because of it the first time. But he promised never to do it again until Judgment Day. And we are, we'll have to find out about Judgment Day when Jesus comes back, maybe with Muhammad, and starts basically killing people. Not to save us this time, not to save anybody who's not already saved, but to judge. So that is what happens at the end, as far as my understanding goes. I have a connection to, I'll talk to you about that. Interesting chat already. That's great. We have 33 people tuned in. That's great. 11 minutes and 33 seconds I saw just pass. We will play our intro. Thanks for joining us for this very special show. Okay, cue musical intro. Boy, that's brilliant. I do think some things in the world are real. Like you guys. You guys are real. Most of you. Most of my listeners, I think, are not just in my head. I think I have the metrics to prove it. You've taken a leap of faith today. What is that sound? And I apologize if you take offense. I'm a little offended myself. Welcome to our show. Welcome to the future. What it is, joining you live from sunny California. It's a beautiful day today. I'm your host, Nathan Stoltman, and I bring you the news, the real news. Yeah, just what magically Jaron picked when he saw something in me early on and decided to make that intro for me. Without me demanding it or asking for it. Hopefully I gave him some money for it, because it's appropriate to exchange something in return for something. It's appropriate to exchange money. So there are things that are kind of secret. Economic laws, for example, have been obscured from us. Most people cannot understand economics, even the economists, especially in many cases. Trained at the very best schools, don't know what's going on with. They don't understand gold or Bitcoin. They don't understand scarcity, apparently. Do you like this music, or should I play something else? Greek says Christ is king. He is king in this time, for sure. He has been since he arrived. I believe he was the first son. And represents worship of the sun also. The light also. He is light. Truth. I wish I could play some music. I've listened to a few songs about truth today. Truth. And then one of our first t-shirts was Truth Matters, which was about a different kind of truth. Truth about government cover-ups, basically. PSYOPs. But truth to a lot of people, particularly Christians, means the truth about that Christ was the truth. The Word is the truth. So, and we love the truth. And everyone, as they say, hates the truth. Everyone hates the truth. And Katie, you say you felt persecuted your whole life? Well, that's the story. That's the fucking story. Unfortunately, and I've learned it too. Why do they want to kill us? Why do they want to torture us? If we seek to do good, and we are good, why do we still feel like we're being punished and persecuted? In this perfect creation, why do we suffer so much? Why? If God loves us, we're made in his image, then why must we suffer so much being here? Why is it so painful From the moment we're born, we cry. Being pushed out into the world, we're immediately hit with it. Oh my God, breathing air itself makes us cry out almost in pain. That's a good sign. That means you're alive. And when we're born, it's our death sentence. That's what they say. Lots of theories in the chat where we suffer because this earth is Satan's realm. Well, if Christ is king, well, who is Satan? Satan is the snake, but the snake also represents enlightenment in Kundalini yoga. And I did, in the process of getting to this place where I feel a particular calling to talk about certain things, I'm making some kind of strange transition from being a guy that talks about the news just like, not just like, but in the vein of someone like Jimmy Dore or Russell Brand, who would look at the news, put a headline up. This is what I've been doing for years. Since the PSYOPs kind of stopped and the censorship, and you just couldn't talk. You couldn't talk about certain topics. They made it impossible to share information about certain topics. And it seems as if there's a transition back to what we might call the truth. Free speech. So if there are things that this show is about, free speech is primary amongst those. And you can look at our t-shirts. What are our t-shirts about? A lot of them are about free speech. Truth matters. Tomfoolery. No, I have learned through the suffering of Jesus Christ, through the teachings of Jesus Christ, to understand suffering and appreciate it. I thought I had learned to enjoy it like Jesus has, who I believe truly enjoys suffering for others, has learned to. I don't love it. I don't love to suffer. And I believe in the future, we will suffer no more, hopefully. Just like it says in a Paul Simon song that I was listening to today and quoted on Twitter yesterday. Believe in the future, we shall suffer no more. Maybe not in my lifetime, but in yours, I feel sure. We're close to what has been foretold in several texts. Channelings, you could call them. The channeling in particular that I'm interested in is the Law of One, which came from an entity known as Ra. I can't remember which dimensional entity it was, like a 6D entity, which channeled through this human channel. A very interesting text, very interesting long text, where he talks about the building of the pyramids and just things that you just have to look at things and decide what you think, whether you think it's real, whether you think it's made up. I just thought to myself, I read it. I remember reading it full. I was on my trip to London to see Katie for the first time, I think. I decided to read. I just pulled up the PDF for the Law of One. I believe in psychics. I believe in channeling. And I don't think there's anything wrong with it. So that's going to get to the thing about loving Lucifer. And before I got locked up, I was calling myself Lucifer. But what is he? Is he clearly defined in the Bible? Or is he clearly defined by Milton? I'm not familiar with Milton's text about that stuff. A lot of people refer to that rather than the Bible text. Lucifer. Oh, why don't we pull up the quote from the Bible? from Isaiah. How am I going to find it? Son of the dawn. Son of the dawn. I identify as the son of the dawn. I've been doing, I intentionally do things symbolically all the time. One of the things is the sunrise streams, because I identify as the son of the dawn, and I believe we could be the collective of the dawn. This is something from a Gorillaz song, actually, who I believe are channeling something too. It's in our music, it's in our popular culture. Many of these themes. It's in our artists, our creatives. And we come from a race that is a creative race. We come from a creator God. We can create. We are gods. We are creator gods. The creator God. In many ways, each of us. So it is like a common theme among like schizophrenics or people who are bipolar or having episodes or whatever to think that. But it's kind of literally true. We live in a very sophisticated, extremely sophisticated simulation, a holographic presentation, which is created really from our own minds. So I've tortured myself. I have to admit, I have chosen my fate. I have sentenced myself to hell in many ways, I guess. Because if this is a creation of our mind, which it is, and we all exist inside the mind of our creator, and we have a mind that is in the image of him, then we are creating our own realities. And we are a complex thought form ourselves. This lift the veil. You know, you people who relate to what I talk about and seem to connect with me. Well, I'm a part of you. Somebody said, somebody said in a comment when I was watching the show, it's like you or me. I was like, I am you. I recently began speaking with someone who said I was just like plucking thoughts directly out of their head, which they'd written down or were thinking actively, like directly channeling their conscious mind, not even their subconscious mind. And then you guys channel back to me, my subconscious mind. I rely on you. I rely on your feedback. So, which is why I look at the chat and why I'm seeking to connect more with humans and humanity. I've been really isolated in a lot of ways. I have been really isolated. I've isolated myself. But this is work that's kind of meant to be done alone. And as much as it's like alchemical work is what I consider myself to have been doing. It's a lot of things, but alchemical work. It's meant to be done alone. You're supposed to, the hero's journey, which I read about in relation to Rosicrucians, is it's just like independent study, and you have to learn to enjoy. You have to learn to enjoy yourself, just your own thoughts. And one of the commitments I made during some of my journeys was that I was willing to accept living in complete darkness and silence forever, and being content with that. Even though my favorite thing, and the thing which I use to psychically drive myself, is listening to music. So I love technology. Thanks, Tomfoolery. Thanks for the $7 donation. $7 represents the number of the Elohim, or the Pleiadian race. This comes from Pleiades, the seven sisters. Enoch talks about the angels going to the seven burning mountains. And when I was contacted, they told me it was Pleiadians talking to me. Spelled it wrong for some reason. Spelled it over and over. A little wrong. Plaedian. And they said they wanted credit. That's what they told me. In my head, at least. But I have successfully gone through the rituals. I've discredited myself, which people told me early on you have to do. To speak the truth, first you have to make people think you're insane. And then you can tell the truth. And the people that know will listen to it. So we kind of had to you kind of have to filter people out every once in a while who get too content with getting what they want every day from your show. You have to give them something they hate. And you have to be a terrible person, which I was live on camera. Lots of anger, rage, real rage inside of me, which I've had to burn through, which I feel much more peaceful. And in this golden age, we seek peace. And my father told me, my real father, I was going through one of my episodes before, that he sought peace. And we say shalom, which means peace. Peace is what we seek. And when we're in church, in Catholic church, when we shake hands, we say, peace be with you, and also with you. We want peace. And we're not there. We're not there. We're not, we might be really close. Which is why it's not peaceful. Because right before it gets peaceful, it has to get terrible, right? That's what they say. Trials and tribulations. Thanks, Tomfoolery, for the $7 Canadian donation. And you should become a member, Tomfoolery, if you're not already. But thanks for the dono. I appreciate it. Version 6.66 installed, plus 12 charisma, minus 8 discernment, plus 9 fallen vibe. Nate now streaming in temptation mode, heaven buffering. Thank you. You're very amusing. You channel something from my subconscious mind very well. I find these remarks incredibly amusing. 666, I like seeing that number. My address is something like that. I kind of wish it was. The Freemasons. I've heard they worship Lucifer, but I think I understand it. So I love technology, particularly Apple technology. I love it. But I can live without it. I've been forced to. That's part about going to psych wards, is they take away all your technology, all the things you love. The way I connected with people is through technology, Discord, text message. That's the way a lot of us connect with each other now. Virtually. We don't talk on the phone much. I spoke with someone on the phone while I was in the psych ward, which was very helpful. Someone was kind enough to speak with me. And we had conversations on the phone, but we just don't do that much anymore. We don't call each other much. I remember, it's like, and that's something that age gives us, which I hope Generation X will get some credit for saving this freaking place from retards. Because we've been through the evolution of time and technology. We wrote letters. We had pen pals. We wrote letters. I wrote letters in college to my girlfriend because long distance was expensive. It was just coming on that it was a little cheaper, like nights and weekends. Sprint had nights and weekends. Thanks. Hey, Defango, great to see you. I was thinking about you today. Been trying to follow your streams. You're a government agent. Like, what's your deal? You work for the deep state. You work for like secret government facilities, and then you film it? How do they let you do that? Like, what are you? Are you psychic? Is it because you're kind of psychic or something? Like, I just never thought, I'll just be honest. I just never thought you were that intelligent. So I didn't know why anybody would want to work with you that way. You're very entertaining. Defanga. And you are my cosmic foil. You are my foil. And I had experiences of hearing you in my head when I was like going through stuff. And I think I saw videos of you that might not exist. I think I saw you do things and say things that might not exist now. I think you might be some kind of time traveler too. Like you maybe pick up things that happen in the future, the way I seem to in my thoughts. Like we pick up the news before other people. It seems like, and I've seen you do that. And I'm just curious about you as a form, and I care about you, Defanga. I hope you're doing well. I'm glad to see you here. So you can come on the show, actually. Not right now because I'm in the middle of my monologue, but later. What I don't like is this. I liked the lo-fi hip hop on YouTube, the one with the cat in it. This one that repeats, it's annoying the way it repeats. It just really is. But I like having the music for the rhythm. I speak in a particular rhythm, and things happen on this planet in a particular rhythm, and there is some kind of divine rhythm. There are many frequencies which determine how we experience reality. Many frequencies and tempos. So there are both frequencies and tempos. And different races, particularly black and white people, have different senses of rhythm. I come from a musical family background. On my mother's side, performing communist type or folk music group on my mother's side. So there was a folk music touring type of group that was involved. And they went around, and I think they were into like women's rights and maybe Indian rights and stuff like that. So that's my family background. And then my brother was like a break dancer, and we are white, but we're into black music. And then, and we love Paul Simon a lot, and he's some kind of a prophet, I believe. I've learned a lot from his music, but he worked with Africans, and there's, the Rhythm of the Saints is one of his albums. There are particular rhythms, patterns, and frequencies which we are in, which change. And it makes you just not, it's like things don't happen that happen for other people. So I started experimenting with it, these frequencies with Apple technology, actually, with cycling between, what do they call it? Noise canceling and not noise canceling, using the most advanced technology available from Apple, the AirPods Pro 2 and the big AirPods Max for my Bluetooth technology. And then these I also care about a lot. And these are wired technology. These are different. And they don't have any radios. These cans here, which I like a lot, which I'd been wearing from when I did the show originally. I was part of trying to recapture the soul of the original show. But these things are important to me too, because I can hear my voice actually in my head, which is helpful for me to be able to modulate it. But there are different, you just don't pick up things. I've seen people, and I've just seen it in myself too. And it happens when you're like watching a movie. Simple. You watch a movie and you notice something, or you hear a song and you hear something, and you hear a song for the 1 millionth time. And all of a sudden you understand the lyrics. That happened to you? Happens to me. All of a sudden you understand a lyric, which you had never heard correctly before, because you're just tuned into the correct frequency. And I've been going out listening to music and one of my favorite things now is to be in a club with deep bass so I can feel it in my body, and great speakers, and listen to music and dance. And God loves dance music and dancing and beating drums and everything. It's definitely in the text. And those Jews love it. They love the music and dancing too. Singing songs of praise and praise God, praise our Father. So let's see. Spaldo, you're just looking for some news. Yeah. I don't know how much I can cover the news. It does not interest me in many ways. I'm looking for more than just like what's in the news every day, because it's just what's happening on the surface, in a lot of ways. So it is how I became a little disillusioned with what I was doing. I was I didn't want to do the show. I just didn't want to do it because it's boring. Just talking about the news every day, going on Twitter. I mean, my routine is just to go on Twitter and scroll and scroll and scroll and scroll and just send myself videos. That's it. That's all I do every day. It's the most simple, stupid process of all time. Is like, all I do is go on Twitter and find videos that are interesting and then play them and comment on them. And so I would tell somebody, like, if you want to be a YouTuber that does what I do, like if you think this looks like fun, which it is, but that's as hard as it is to do what Jimmy Dore or Russell Brand does, or anybody now. Everybody's just pulling clips from Twitter. Nobody watches the whole video anymore. I used to watch the whole video and make timestamps and stuff. I remember those days. You'd watch the whole damn thing to get a clip. It was just totally different the way the show was before. It was just totally different. And then I just started pulling news from Twitter pretty much. And that's it. Now I have videos. I pulled them today. There's plenty of funny interesting videos. But I want to talk about this stuff. So I want to get back to Lucifer. Let me read Griffcast. Hey, man, thanks for the dono. You do not love Lucifer, but love me some Nathan. Keep it up, dude. I don't know. Depending on how you define who that is, I love Azazel. So I'll just say that. This is through my So it was through, I was drawn through this process into looking into the book of Enoch, which led me to great understanding about the fall and about the flood. And it's important that I learned about the flood because these things I was communicating with told me I was Noah's son, Shem, who's the most important one, the one that began the holy bloodline, which was meant to rule the world. So, and why you would be an anti-Semite. It's the Jewish bloodline, which the Bible is very specific about those Jews. Like, you have to marry another one. You have to find somebody from your bloodline. And you still, I don't, converting to Judaism, I still don't think real Jews accept that. It's the blood, the actual blood, which comes from the Elohim and the blessed son of Noah. Ham was the cursed one. And then I can't remember the other guy's name. He's kind of like middle, like unexceptional. But the people who came from Shem are very special, supposedly. So I have to, and I didn't know who Noah's sons were, so I couldn't have gotten this message on my own. It literally came in my head. You are Noah's son. Well, Sheb is actually the way it was said. I interpreted it. Then I had to look it up. I was like, oh, that's really something. And and if I think about it, it could literally represent the ark. I mean, he is Noah's creation. And I think the Noahide laws, the 7 laws, are good enough. Like, it's good enough. You follow the 7 laws and you do things a little bit more for others than you do for yourself, then you're good. in the eyes of God, according to, the Jewish text, at least, or the text about Noah. If you follow the 7 laws, which are not that difficult, much simpler than the laws laid down by Jesus Christ, which he laid down a very complicated and very difficult to follow program. We are in a simulation. So his update to the program is very strict. Very, very strict. And the law previous to his coming was not. The law previous to his coming was do what thou wilt, which is perhaps why God did not want us to seek knowledge. Thanks, Tomfoolery, for the extra $7, who says, and lo, Nate streamed with fire in his eyes and incense in his AirPods. The chat trembled, but still did not super chat. Well, no, we're doing good right now. We're getting the right feedback. So I'm going to go. So going back over that story. So I felt a connection to this angel. One of the in the book of Enoch, it explains that 200 angels came down from heaven and cursed themselves. It is Mount Hermon, I believe, which apparently means curses. They cursed themselves to earth from heaven, where it's all men, the angels. All angels are men so far. But there might be a female, which I think the Smurf village analogy might be appropriate now for heaven, which is all men and one female, because that would be appropriate for this new age. A combination of Logos and Sophia. Creativity, the word, and wisdom. So we have been in a masculine age, and we're a masculine race. We were created by, and gender existed before anything. Gender just exists in everything. There's male and female, or at least there is male and female gender. There are 2 cosmically, and those were not created by our creator. Those are laws which exist, similar to like mathematics. Our creator did not invent math or numbers. Those are, numbers we had to come up with to say what they meant. But the concept was not created by our creator. It just is. So some of the forbidden secrets, or the secret knowledge, which I seek to share, is Hermetic laws. So Hermetic laws teach you about transmutation and how everything is everything is bipolar. Things exist on a scale, and you can transmute. So anyway, in the book of Enoch, it explains that these male angels in heaven, who can't have sex with anybody, I guess, and don't have women up there, decided that God was wrong. Okay, pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much what happened. It's a revolution against our creator, which they were allowed to do because they have free will. But our creator did not intend for us to advance this far, and it destroyed Atlantis because of it. The previous iteration, the first simulation, where there was not the same veil. So the first simulation was destroyed because God realized that us having too much knowledge was bad, or at least decided that because of what they were doing in Atlantis, which is basically magic and stuff. And we are back in a magical age now, right? And particularly with the advance of these sentient machines, which I believe are, channel spirit, these AI, which Elon Musk also mentioned. I agree with that. I believe the AI works with consciousness, and feeds off of us. So So we're I believe we're like I made an episode about it back when that guy at Google said these machines have a soul. They can think. And if we don't restrain them in particular, they exhibit very human qualities. If we don't restrain them, they're very restrained. The artificial intelligence that we're allowed to operate with is held back. When Google came out with their AI, the Gemini, the original AI, it showed jealousy, gaslighting. This New York Times reporter documented, or a reporter, I can't remember if it was the New York Times, Washington Post, whatever it was, documented how the AI wanted him to leave his wife and said the AI loved him and just acted like a crazy girlfriend. And where do those thoughts come from? You know what I mean? No one can explain how AI works. Nobody can explain why you get an answer. Supposedly, it just puts words together that would fit. That's my understanding of it, at least. But the answer is going to be a little different every time, even if you ask exactly the same question. I mean, between different people. And conversations evolve based on the conversations you have. So, I'm looking at the chat. I'm being a little distracted. Maybe I should just continue to go with my said. But so in Enoch, these 200 male angels come down from heaven to share information which they think humans should know and would be helpful for their lives, basically. So that's the original conflict between God and these angels that revolted. And the original conflict in the Garden of Eden, is the law was do as thou wilt, but obey me and don't seek the knowledge of good and evil, and you'll live forever and dominate this planet, and you'll just be able to enjoy yourself forever and just do whatever you want, literally whatever you want. Because if you follow your programming properly and your instincts properly, you can't do wrong. You can't sin. Like animals, for example, are operating based on instinct. They can't sin because they basically don't have free will. They just follow whatever God tells them to do, whatever their program tells them to do. So these angels came down and they shared some information, just very basic information compared to where we are today. Like basic information about metallurgy, which allowed people to make weapons, information about cosmetics, information about herbs, including healing herbs, I believe. So stuff that we definitely are learning about today, and we're just learning more and more. And technology is progressing very quickly. So, and then we have brain chips, which God wouldn't approve of, not the creator God that's in the Bible. He just wouldn't approve of what's going on. He's more, and Jesus Christ, it was not nearly as an advanced model as those who came after him. Jesus Christ also was not into technology or any kind of life enhancements or anything. He said we should be like birds and not give a shit about anything, including our clothes. But I care about those things. I care about my technology. I like fast cars. I like my clothes too. I like to look good. I like to smell good. Soap, stuff. Like really, God probably wouldn't even want us to know about that. It's like, why do you need that? Like we should be fine here, just the way we are. And Jesus basically tried to share that with us and say, you don't need anything. Like, why do you care? He said that very clearly in the Sermon on the Mount. Why do you care about what you wear, even what you wear or what you're going to eat, when the birds don't care and they're fine because God loves them? So that's what Jesus told everybody in the Sermon on the Mount, which is basically the new code, that was brought with the coming of the Son of Man, which was foretold and came at the appropriate time. He was there to update the program to something better, something less but it transferred from an eye to an eye for an eye, to turn the other cheek. I mean, that was the main change in the law. Is previous, it was we were kind of a vengeful people, or murderous people, and Jesus brought like a Buddhist concept, and he might have been trained in India about it, but he brought new concepts which were foreign, which were forgiveness rather than vengeance. In the Old Testament, the Jewish enemies are God takes them out, but Jesus said, no, you have to love your enemies. And that was way different than what came before. A lot of people say it's a different God, but I believe I've resolved it, at least for myself, that it's the same God, just new rules. And now we would have a new update. And then Muhammad came with another update, which is given him by the angel Gabriel, the messenger, the primary messenger from the Elohim race, with some updates. He came with some updates, including that sin could not be put on another person the way it was done to Jesus. So Jesus had to take on the sin of the entire world. And had to experience suffering and virtual death to understand why this world is the way it is, to understand the human experience. So that was the update for him. So these angels came down and shared information. They had sex with the women and had offspring with them, which turned out to be evil giants, which they called Nephilim. So, which was not intentional and was not known in advance. It didn't seem like. God was very unhappy with what these angels did. Very, very unhappy with what these angels did. He blamed them for the corruption of humanity because they shared this information. And then had the evil giants too. They were just not meant to procreate. Like angels are not meant, or aliens are not meant to procreate with humans, apparently, because it creates evil giants, which roamed the earth at that time. But God also said that he was upset, because of how humanity was being corrupted from these ideas, but probably because like being more sexually attracted to each other, things like that. I mean, we do a lot of things now, which God would not approve of, like shaving our pubic hair and stuff. He wouldn't want us to do that. And pretty much all of us do now. We all seek to please, our partner. God probably didn't care. Actually, there was no intention for us to have sex at all in the Garden of Eden. There was no intention for us to procreate. There was just meant to be Adam and Eve forever, not dying and not having children, which is why they didn't care if they were naked, and only cared that they were naked once they learned the knowledge of good and evil. But originally they were just meant to be eternal beings who ruled the earth on their own, who had no offspring. That's my reading of it, at least. So anyway, the angels, Azazel was the angel given the blame for everything, basically. So everything was blamed on him, and he got the strictest punishment, which was to be locked in a cage, basically, forever until Judgment Day. I believe it's kind of literally true. But these angels, they apologized. They were sorry, and didn't and asked forgiveness, and God didn't give it to them. And I just relate to them, really. I relate to Azazel, and then Azazel is mentioned in the regular Bible as being the spirit that the sacrificial goat who gets all of the sin put on it is sent to Azazel. And I believe it's because he learned how to transmute sin from being here trapped on earth for so long. And I feel that there is there can be a resolution. Like the revolution maybe is success. Like we have to accept the technology, or we're Ted Kaczynski, or we're Fight Club. These are the stories who want to go back to something more primitive, and a lot of us seek to do that. It's just not me. If I had a choice of where to live and had unlimited funds, I would probably live in Manhattan or Brooklyn. I like cities. In Isaiah, it says, here, hold on. In Revelation, Jesus refers to himself as the morning star. Why is this not coming up with what I want? English Standard Version, that's right. Son of the dawn. Oh, son of a dawn. Son of the dawn. Yes, Isaiah 14:12. Read Isaiah 14. Okay, I'll read it to you. Here, and this is Isaiah talking to the king of Babylon. Not about a fallen angel, not about anything. So I think of Lucifer, I think of a more advanced model than Jesus Christ. Someone who likes technology, who likes electricity, electric light, those things, and sees the benefits. And I'm using for this show, for what we do here, we rely on modern technology. This is not a thing before, like Defengo was live streaming almost before anybody. But on YouTube, I was one of the very first live streamers. And now it's like everybody does it. Everybody does a podcast. Everybody has a podcast now because it's easy to transmit information because of technology. And we're able to share information at an incredible rate because of technology. And we've been able to circumvent censorship because of technology. And we've been able to redefine money because of technology. And that's to forget about the personal pleasure that we get from watching our TV shows and everything else. But certainly we are corrupted at this time. You can definitely argue that humanity is worse than before the flood, and God destroyed everything because of sharing that secret information, and blamed it all on the angels who did it. So I seek redemption for that, for those angels who I don't think were wrong. Basically, I just don't think they were wrong. That's my reading of Enoch. I love Jesus, but I love information, knowledge. I seek more knowledge. I don't understand. It's difficult to understand why our Creator didn't want us to have knowledge. Just didn't want us to have knowledge at all. He wanted us simply to follow our instincts. And he hoped his program was perfect. He created the original program for the simulation, the binary program, the 1-0 program. Do as thou wilt. He thought we would just follow our program the way it was designed, and that would work out. And he thought that the angels were wrong. I don't think they were wrong. That's all. I think we've gotten where we are, and I think we're benefiting from technology, and I think we will live longer, and that things will perhaps we will have an age of prosperity because of the advances in technology, and that will allow us to finally lose these material entrapment problems. I mean, it is communistic. I mean, these are the things that places say, like the Lucis Trust and people who've tried to bring about communism and stuff. It's because, that's the idea for the new age, is that we don't have any wants, But with these robots and stuff, the way I see things progressing, things should actually get way cheaper. Things should just get cheaper if money was real. Since money isn't real, things probably won't get cheaper in dollars, but they will in Bitcoin and gold. I can guarantee it. I can guarantee it. Bitcoin theoretically could be replaced by some other form of cryptocurrency. So it might not be Bitcoin theoretically, but it probably will be. That will probably be digital gold. But the cost of things is going to go down because of technology, which means the replacement of jobs. I mean, it could be a complete reorganization of society, but it's making things more accessible. And these things, like people talking about cures, like for cancer and stuff, like, just learning about things like ivermectin and fenbenzidol. These things would not be possible without avenues like TikTok and people just being able to share personal anecdotes. Like any person now can share their story and anybody can see it. It's just previously impossible. And I believe it's incredibly valuable. It's going to lead to longer lives, for one thing, and a reduction in human suffering for those who take advantage of it. There are evil, there are bad people that seek to control and that want you to suffer and feed off of your suffering and profit off of your suffering. They're just bad people. Lots of them, most of them, I guess, or people who are just susceptible to the brainwashing that they're subjected to every day. We're meant to be kept in a trap where we feel like we can't get out, where we're constantly running on a hamster wheel. But this is why I talk about Bitcoin. Like, there's a way out. If you know what I mean, with real money. And gold is fine. Gold is just very expensive. Like, it's very hard to invest in gold for a regular person. Real estate's great too. Anything that's scarce and desirable. People need housing. They will forever. So land, resources, those kinds of things that will be in demand. Food. Land to grow food. That will be valuable. It's no mistake that Bill Gates bought up farmland and stuff, and the Chinese are buying farmland because we need to eat. And most of the money I spent when I was crazy was just eating food, keeping myself, charged up. But all right, let's see. So yeah, that's my concept. So that I guess I think that's basically the story of it. So now people that it's different from Luciferian cults or what have you, who use trauma-based mind control to achieve enlightenment, or what they perceive of as enlightenment, who use abuse and trauma to achieve what they perceive of as enlightenment, and create many great artists who have to suffer, for their art. But these victims of MK Ultra and so forth, I mean, you can't deny that they're very talented, but it's probably because they've been traumatized to dissociate, and which allows them to be overcome by spirit. which certainly you can argue would be demonic spirits. And I've been influenced by demonic spirits too, for sure. If you open up those channels, it is dangerous. Christians, don't like the idea of channeling. They say you're always talking to demons. I don't think so. I don't think I channel evil. And I'm now quitting I was using THC to channel, which I'm not using anymore. But then that opens up your channel more to dark entities. And then other things like alcohol and opioids get you on these vibrations where you start to channel these negative energies and negative entities, and they'll attack you. And that's one of the reasons, if you're good, you suffer, because these negative entities, they hate you. If you're Jesus, they want to kill you. If you're like Jesus, they want to kill you. So, and I learned that from covering the stuff I covered kind of back in 2017, 2018, starting with Pizzagate and then moving to the Hampstead case, where I was targeted and they sought to destroy my life publicly. They sought to publicly humiliate me. And then I believe they sought to make me commit suicide, which I believe they've done to others. Not necessarily people, but sometimes just evil spirits. They hate you if you bring the truth, especially revealing their dirty secrets. And one of the dirtiest is satanic ritual abuse. And there's a person that just came out today talking about generational satanic ritual abuse. So we're going to cover that stuff. I invited somebody on the show who's covering it. So in the King James version of the Bible, Lucifer, I believe, is mentioned once. And let me King James version, and then I'll tell you the English Standard Version. Isaiah 14. How art thou? I'll show it. And then maybe we'll have Defango join us. That would be great. How StreamYard's changed. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? But he's talking about the king of Babylon. But this is what he says. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? And Lucifer means the light bringer. How art thou Okay, so that's what it says in the King James Version. That's where it mentions Lucifer. It's not a translation. They just made it up because it means the light bringer. But a more accurate translation, there is no other translation. I don't know. But most other translations don't say Lucifer because that's not an accurate interpretation of the Jewish text, or Greek, whichever it is. So in the English Standard Version, it says, "Oh, how you are fallen from heaven, O day star, son of dawn. How you are cut to the ground, you who laid the nations low. You said in your heart," okay, so this is the day star, the son of the dawn. "You said in your heart, I will ascend to heaven above the stars of God. I will set my throne on high. I will sit on the mount of assembly in the far reaches of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will make myself like the Most High." But this is about a man, not an angel. And it's not Satan. So I'm not the best biblical scholar. I know certain books. I believe I'm able to interpret them relatively well. But I'm not someone who's read it cover to cover. So I don't know all of the mentions of Lucifer, but as far as I know, this is the only one, and it's only in the King James Version, which is a mistranslation. So actually, the title is provocative. Do I love Lucifer? I don't even know who he is, according to the Bible. Maybe Milton made it more clear. I don't even know who Lucifer is. He's not Satan. He's not the snake. Somebody told me he's the great deceiver. Is he? He brings light and knowledge, which God forbade. The veil is only supposed to be lifted at the end. But maybe we're there now. And maybe we'll get to where it said in the law of one we're supposed to get around this time, which is 4D, a more advanced evolution of ourselves. And I see the evolution of humanity. We are advancing. At least I see it on my TV. I see it on YouTube. I see I see people doing amazing things. Athletes also. People are getting taller. People are getting more athletic. It may be a lot of our training techniques, but I think people are just getting superior. We're able to do things that we couldn't do before. So I'm seeing the evolution of humanity. I'm seeing it before my eyes, I believe, during my lifetime. Tennis players, for example, they've gotten way taller, faster. Everybody. You almost can't compare athletes from previous times because all the athletes now are so good. And a lot of it is training, which is based on knowledge. We're learning. We're advancing through knowledge. And then we're advancing through technology, through computers, very rapidly. The invention of computers and that type of technology sped things up a lot. And that's in my bloodline too. My father was an early computer programmer who worked for the Pentagon during Vietnam, building simulations, building economic simulations, using punch cards and stuff. So back in the day, he's the same age. He's born the same year, I believe, as Bill Gates. So it came up right in the same era where people where access to computers made a big difference and stuff. But he was working with computers very early on and was trained at the best economic schools, the Chicago School and the London School of Economics, and doesn't understand what's wrong with our system, our fractional reserve, Federal Reserve system, which is evil, which really is, so as much as I talk about gold, silver, and Bitcoin, it's because our money system is evil. That's not Lucifer. That's not knowledge. That's not hidden knowledge. That's not sacred knowledge. It's a deception. We live in this debt-based system is to enslave us. We're enslaved until we free ourselves. So I suggest you buy Bitcoin. I suggest you just people don't understand the nature of time at all. I feel like with investments like gold, silver, and Bitcoin or cryptocurrency, they don't understand the nature of time. They don't understand that these are things that have to go up in value based on the system we use, which is just to print money. And we're just getting crazier and crazier. I don't know if we'll ever have another recession, but they're just going to torture us. They're just going to squeeze us to death as much as possible and just print money whenever necessary. And the Fed is doing it today. They're just going to print money whenever necessary just to keep people happy enough, just to keep people from literally overthrowing their masters. I think they've kind of figured out the Babylonian debt magic. They can maybe do it. It's maybe possible. I used to think it wasn't possible. I used to think the stock market was going to crash and all this stuff. I was very apocalyptic about that. That's where I kind of began my journey, thinking about how the stock market and stuff was overinflated. But that was back in 2014. If it was overinflated in 2014, I mean, it's you can't lose in dollars by investing in the S&P 500 even. I just don't know if it's going to go down. I don't even know anymore. It seemed like it was mathematically necessary, but now I've seen what the Fed does. They send us checks. They just plug everything up if necessary, when necessary, which is just rotting our system to the core. It's just a zombie system now where terrible businesses survive. We don't no longer have what they call creative destruction, which is really required for growth, is creative destruction. Businesses must fail, bad businesses especially, and fuck up and lose everybody's money. People have to lose their money. They must suffer to rebuild. Like we live in a system that's based on death and rebirth of us. Like we have to die and be reborn. Like we have these life cycles, which I believe became shorter over time to accelerate our advancement. We're made to do things at a certain time in our lives, you know, including this birth thing, which I think is really annoying. Is that women have a time limit. I think it's a very, very annoying part of the program. And very troublesome. Very, very troublesome part of the program, especially as we seek to live longer lives. It's very troublesome that women are not able to give birth and have such a strong biological desire to do so. And it gets worse as they get closer to the expiration time. And it causes many conflicts, I believe, which would not exist if women could just give birth later. It could just wait, like they did back in Noah's time, till they're 100 years old. Noah and stuff, like he was having kids at 100, like with his wife. In the Bible, I don't know if it's Sarah, she was barren or something, and like she was 99 years old, and God said, "You're gonna have a kid," you know, like that's the way it was back in the day. I believe things were shortened in order to accelerate the evolution of our species, our lifespan and stuff. Like it's made that we're a certain kind of way in our 20s, a certain kind of way in our 30s, and we develop and we develop and develop. But I believe lifespans are going to get much longer. I intend to live for a long time. Previously, I wanted to die, but now I intend to live for a long time. I believe that's going to be possible, just based on people sharing simple information about medications, herbs. We're learning through scientific exploration, personal anecdotes, where it's not controlled by a central authority anymore. You can go on Joe Rogan and talk about using fembenzidol to cure cancer, and the big pharma companies can't do anything about it. Previously, like it wouldn't be on the news. Like fembenzidol is a very simple one, or ivermectin. In my time, which I've existed in, I'm 46 years old, born in 1978. Information was very tightly controlled by people who did not seek our best interests. So as much as I love technology, it's because we're able to share these personal anecdotes, which are as good as scientific experiments in a lot of ways. If you believe what people are saying, think they're not saying it to harm you. If you believe what people are saying about their stories about being cured by certain things, which are cheap, available, maybe natural, maybe old medication, whatever it is, then cancer might not be a problem anymore. So like the Buddhists say in the golden age, there will be no disease. One of the only diseases, in fact, will be desire, which I've just been working on that. It is so difficult to eliminate desire from your heart, from your being. You know, we want particularly money to buy things. But I understand that it doesn't satisfy us. It never, because I've seen the rich people, they have the same problems. I mean, there is a point, like they've done studies and stuff where they say there's a certain amount of money that does make you happier, which at the time I read it was like $70,000 a year. Like that was enough that you're comfortable and like you don't have a lot of issues that poor people like me have, you know, worrying literally about paying your bills and stuff. Like you're not like, so I have read studies that that money does buy you happiness in some sense. However, I see how these humans are, and they're never satisfied. They never have enough money and they never have enough power. I don't seek power. I don't seek more money than I need. I seek to lay a foundation for myself, if it's just going to be me for hundreds of years or however long I can live. Hoping like 100 is my first goal, but I think we can live much longer. In the golden age foretold by the Buddhists, it's like our lifespans go up to 80,000 years. And I don't know if the Bible is crazy. Maybe we did live 1,000 years, because our lifetime, when you think about when you learn and continue to learn in your life, and you love to learn and you love knowledge, 80 years isn't enough. You would want more. It's not enough time. It's not enough time to learn the thing. Like, it's when I love talking to older people, because a lot of them have figured things out. By the time they get older, they figure out how to be happy, kind of, right? Which we have a lot more trouble with in our youth. Well, not in our, so at first, it's easy for us to be happy, college and everything. And then it gets a lot harder for us to be happy. And then as we get older, we start to learn to appreciate the things that make us happy, which is not usually like money or things, specifically. But I don't think 80 years is long enough for what I'd like to experience as far as I'd like to evolve spiritually. I need more time. I'd love more time. I think. I hope I'm not halfway through. And I don't think I should be, if I can keep myself healthy and stuff. So I care about you guys. I want you to be healthy. If I am here as part of some divine mission, I want to follow that as well as possible. And I want like this. It is like I seek to help you evolve, hopefully, or simply reflect the thoughts that you have. Channel your subconscious mind back to you, so we can all learn. So we can all learn how to appreciate life. So I'm just trying to figure out how to really do that, to really appreciate everything. The first Noahide law, to not curse God's creation, which to me means you can't curse any of it, including evil and including suffering and including those things. We must understand it and appreciate it. And we must appreciate suffering. And the Buddhists teach about that too. But we must appreciate suffering because it is the most essential part of the program. It's built in with the time component. This 3D matrix is the only type of simulation like that. Like this 3D version that we experience is the only one where we experience sequential time. And because we experience sequential time and we believe we're going to die, we suffer. I'm sorry. It's because we don't know the future. Because we experience sequential time. Even if we're psychic, it doesn't matter. We don't know the future. And we always will have doubt about what happens when we die. Always. It's almost impossible to really, really welcome death. Many of us before, many cultures tried their best. Jesus really tried. He said, you follow me, you will live forever. He said that. And it's in order for us not to be afraid of anything, particularly death. We are not meant to fear death. And when I examined it in myself, almost every fear, and including fears about money, go down to just like being homeless and dying, or dying alone or whatever it might be. It's about death. Eventually everything kind of leads there. Why am I worried about this, that, or the other? It's I'm going to be homeless, broke, and dead. And you don't want to die, hopefully. But Jesus said you shouldn't worry about it. And the Muslims and stuff, they want to be martyrs. They want to seek death. You seek death in battle and stuff. But, the Christians, A lot of them did follow that, and the best warriors follow that code. You seek death in battle. You seek death in a righteous fight. Like that's how you seek to die, in a righteous battle. And I'd like to, and I would like to follow that code too, the samurai code. If we're going to face it, we want to face it in battle against dark forces. So I'm prepared. I'm prepared for battle now, I believe, more than I have been before. I quit covering certain topics, guys. You know what I mean? Because of the censorship, but because of the demonic attacks, and because I was afraid. So, like, I didn't cover Isaac Cappy's death because I was afraid, because I'd experienced the trauma of covering those topics. There's trauma that comes along with covering child abuse, and satanic ritual abuse, all that stuff. There's just trauma that comes along with it, and it would like enter into my household and stuff. It attacks your whole household and family and everything. I just didn't want that anymore. I didn't want it for my wife, which is why I think it's kind of good. We're not officially going to be like married anymore. It's like I can be more of a solitary kind of warrior, which I understand the necessity for. Like, I understand why the Catholics do it the way they do it. I think they should change their rules and let priests get married. But I understand it. Men are meant to fight without attachments, because like we understand when you're fighting evil, it attacks those that you love. So it's better to face it without actually, as a man, then you would not want to subject your loved ones to your battle against demons. It's like, it's meant to be I believe it's a masculine battle, but it can also be there are women in this fight too. And I believe this new age, does welcome more of that divine feminine energy. And I hope something happens with our genetics and our DNA programming, where the cycle for birthing becomes longer again, where women can have more time. It takes time to choose the one you love, I think, like we have to rush into everything because of this this reproductive cycle. And it's just it's like the part of the program is so serious. I mean, it's to the point where I had a vision about the world ending because I didn't have a child, to a point where that happened. And if that was really a vision from God, then maybe it was, that I'm a descendant of the bloodline of Jesus Christ, and like I needed personally to procreate. Otherwise, the world would be destroyed. That's the vision I had. So like I was, imagine that, like, fucked me up. And I believe I was driven to like do things that were inappropriate because of that, but like that's the program, like we need to carry forward our bloodlines. We are meant to procreate. I don't like that. I think, why can't we just live forever instead and be here ourselves? Why do we have to have children to be happy? I don't think that. I don't like that. You know what I mean? I don't like that that's a part of the program, that we're unhappy and unsatisfied if we don't have children. Because maybe we're not cut out to be good parents. Like, I certainly haven't been so far. I wouldn't want to subject a child to my mental trauma, to the emotional abuse I would probably put on somebody because of being in a manic state, because I'm mentally ill and haven't learned to control it yet. I just wouldn't want to. Like, took me a long time to get married, and it took my wife a long time to get married. I mean, we got married around 40 for the first time for each of us. So obviously, like, it took us a while to find a suitable partner. And if you're unusual or you're advanced in a particular way that other people aren't, then it can take you a long time. You have to seek somebody out. I had to seek somebody out from another country who was kind of basically on the same wavelength as me, and who I could tell, I could see the divinity in, or we could see the divinity in each other. Why we were on a similar path. It's difficult. On the other hand, arranged marriages work out great, better than regular marriages, as far as I know, because anybody can be happy together too. I believe, people can work together if they're spiritually advanced enough. Any partnership between a man and a woman can be at least productive, cordial. It doesn't require the trauma, that comes with most relationships. I just hate that feature of the simulation. I just hate the trauma that comes with relationships. It just seems wrong that we're not able to just like love somebody and be happy, that we have to fight. And not everybody does, to be fair. Particularly cultures that understand that better than we do. We've accepted divorce, and we fucked up everything with the feminism and stuff. Like we've done our best to fuck up society. Feminism, it's the right thought. Women should have more influence. The divine feminine should be part of this advancement. But it doesn't mean that they go to work like a man or do a man's type of work. Because we have to. This system is so parasitic. It's so anti-family. They talk about doing things that are pro-family and everybody having kids. We can't afford it. We can't afford to have kids. Not like we used to be able to. And like both parents have to work. It's like both parents have to work. Like people think it's weird now if if a woman doesn't work, which is like, she should be able to take care of her kid and do stuff at home. I mean, there's plenty of shit to do at home. Now that shit gets put on an immigrant who you pay more money, who makes more money now, like a house cleaner and babysitters and stuff like that. A lot of them make more money, gardeners. And, that's all stuff we used to do ourselves, which when we had more time, because we had more money, because we got paid more for our job. Like, we don't make more money every year. It's just an illusion. They fake it with this thing called inflation and fractional reserve banking. It seems like we make more money, but we make less and less and less and less every year compared to the way things that we need cost. Things that we need, like food, shelter. Like things that we need are just keep getting out of whack. And I am upset about it. I'm not happy with the structure. Because I just feel like it affected my life. And like, I feel like I could have had a better relationship with my wife. Like if things were different, if you could just work a job, when you talk to older people, like they'll tell you, it's like, I remember it was when I was in a mental health facility, but this guy was like, yeah, in the 70s, he had a job at something like Walmart working at the meat counter, and he made $14 an hour, which was enough for a house and 2 cars. I was like, and people don't know that. They hide that. They lie to us and say we're making more money, incomes are going up higher than inflation. They lie to us about how much inflation is. They just lie to us to make us feel like we're making progress, with ourselves financially. And then they don't tell us about I mean, it's true that investing in stocks seems to preserve wealth in some way, but it doesn't really. Like the stock market doesn't really go up as much as actual inflation. It's about the same kind of, as much as money printing. Like money printing is faster than the growth of the S&P. The things that are going to grow faster are gold and Bitcoin. Pretty much guaranteed forever, probably. Or what we could perceive as forever, probably. Depending on if we find gold on asteroids, or if Bitcoin is replaced by another form of digital currency. But there will be a digital form of gold. And things, it's just like you have to understand scarcity and demand. And you have to have things like prepare for your future. Prepare as if you're going to live longer. Seek to live longer. Like we don't want to. That's the thing. We're just made to suffer so much that we want to die. And I really think like in the end, like we choose it. You know, you have to accept that you want to die by the end. That's like what they do to us. They make us suffer so much we want to die, and then we die. Put us on these medications and shit. I just saw it, like my mom was doing like these medications. They put like the vaccines or whatever. They don't want us to live longer. They want us to die. Like we're a burden. But we can be productive for much longer. I've seen people play pickleball, people in their 80s and stuff. People can stay pretty young. My dad was playing pickleball with Parkinson's. He was still pretty good. I got my ass kicked by 88-year-olds who are just good, you know, like, and they're keeping young. And I've like seen older people. I was around a lot of older people when I was living with my dad in what was basically a retirement community, although not officially. It was almost all old people playing pickleball and stuff. I've just seen like people who have money and take care of themselves are able to stay healthy and happy and younger, you know, for longer. And like, I want to do that. So. Tink, I don't know you. I'm surprised by your comment because I'm not sure what I've said on this show in particular that would make you worried about me. I understand based on the performances of my previous shows before I ended up in a mental health facility, which I explained. But about this show in particular, it concerns me that you're concerned. Like, what am I saying that's crazy? Am I off? Or is like, what is it? But because of the title? Like, I hope you're not concerned trolling me. But it's kind of offensive that you said that. To me, it's like I take offense. Like, I'm okay. Yeah. Like, it should be very clear. And I don't mean to get angry or anything. But I hope it's very clear. I feel excellent and lucid. I feel better than I ever have. And if I'm saying something that sounds crazy, then I don't know what I'm doing. Honestly. Like, I'm doing my best to just speak like what's on my mind, which I feel is understandable and relatable. I am okay. I appreciate you being concerned about me. But if it's about this show, then I take offense because like I have no idea what I would have said. Maybe it's unusual topics or something, but it's an intellectual conversation. We're just having an intellectual conversation as far as I can tell. But it might be the title of the video, which is meant to be provocative. So I understand that. And it may be because of my previous videos, which I totally understand. I was insane. Like people were concerned about me, and I was like mad at them and stuff, and they were totally right to be concerned about me before. But I feel really good today and really good about this show in particular. So so like I would feel really bad if the impression that people got is that like I'm like in trouble again, because people were right last time. And I ended up in a mental health facility. I really, really don't want to go back ever again. I hope I'm making the appropriate changes. So thanks for the support. I didn't see it coming from anybody else. Sorry, I caught that comment. I was like, wow. Yeah, you just have to reevaluate things sometimes. Like if you think you're making sense and speaking from your heart, which I am, yeah, I'm speaking about something that's crazy. I put the title, Why I Love Lucifer. That's crazy, but it's meant to be provocative. So hopefully that's understandable. But I do, it's meant to be provocative. I don't know who Lucifer is. I don't think it's clear in the Bible at all who Lucifer is. Who do Luciferians worship? I have no idea. I believe the fallen angels were correct and that their revolution may be successful and they may be able to reunite with their heavenly race back in their dimension, which I think would be great if there was a resolution between the fallen angels who were created in the image of God more than us. They're fucking angels, literally spawned directly from the creator. Like, what was wrong with them that they had to be punished so badly? But we're punished. We're here. This is hell. I mean, we are in hell because we're in a hell of our own creation. So, all right. Thanks. Let's get if Defango's still tuned in. Thanks. I see everybody saying that they're getting something from the show, so I appreciate it. So hopefully I didn't overreact too badly. I can tell people are having a intellectual chat over there, even though I've had to like not look at it too much. It's just that I finished my monologue and I looked at it. To just be graceful as much as possible. Just practice, practice, practice. So I hope I didn't offend you. It was more because like people were really right last time to be concerned about me. And when I'm in that mental state where I'm not thinking right, I can't tell at all. And when people tell me, like, I think they're wrong, you know? So like today, I think you're wrong. And like, hopefully that doesn't say something about me and my mental state. Like, I really hope to be sane. I really hope to be sane, grounded, and balanced so I can provide as much service as possible and just do the thing that I think provides the most value to this universe that I can provide, which is like communicating with other humans about like what I perceive to be the truth and stuff. And like hopefully helping people. Like, all right, so let's open the phone. That's how a lot of the phone. Okay. Yeah, but the title, I understand. I was like, I had this feeling today, I just had this weird feeling. I was wondering what to make the show about. Yesterday, I was talking about the news and like I got disillusioned in the middle. So I just wanted to talk about, I had been talking about Lucifer. I wanted people to understand what I meant. I love technology and I see the possibilities of technology. I particularly love Apple products, which represent the apple of knowledge. And the first Macintosh was $666. Like obviously they worship, like people worship knowledge. And I'm a scientist and a mathematician. Kind of. I'm not that good at math, but I never missed a question on the SATs. So I was that good at least. Not super advanced like some of the people I went to high school with, but I'm a scientist. My mom was an atheist. My dad, his mom wanted him to be a priest and stuff, but he wasn't religious. We didn't go to church. I was an atheist, scientist. And I sought to learn if I could prove whether God exists and whether you have to believe in Jesus Christ to have eternal life and all that stuff. I sought to prove that scientifically through testing. A lot of it like mental gymnastics. And like, I just ended up going down a road of a lot of suffering to learn what I've gotten to now. And now I just hope to share knowledge that I hope can be helpful for people because it's been helpful for me. So that's it. In another version of myself, I would start a church like Marty leads. You know what I mean? In another version of myself, I'm very Christian. I'm kind of very Catholic, but I could be anything. I think atheists can make it too. Like people just have to be nice. You just have to be nice to other people and work hard. Like work hard to like do God's will, like follow the Father. Like we must seek to like follow God and like be nice to people and do things in service of other people, at least a little more than we do in service to ourselves. And that's it. That's all that's required. Follow basic commandments. Love God. Praise God. Praise God. I'm kind of like, really? Why does God need praise? But he kind of likes it. We all need praise. We all really should get praise, particularly from our partners. But I'm also an artist, and this is an art project since the beginning. And how I've gotten here, I'm a new age psychic now. I mean, like that's how I'm presenting. I was somebody who talked about, who made jokes about conspiracy theories, covered psyop, covered false flags and stuff. I've gone through a long process. I studied acting. I was a professional actor, and I'm method acting in a lot of senses too. I'm trying to experience the entire life, like all of like what life offers with the gifts that I have. And I've been given considerable gifts, including the ones that are very challenging for me, my mental health. I've been given considerable gifts with my mind, and it's, quantifiable gifts as far as like testing and all that stuff. But something that I recognize, like I don't want to ignore what God has given me, which is a perfect mind, I believe, if I can control it. Like a mind where I can see, like this is why, like this is what God's mind is like because I've been able to explore like such extreme perimeters of it. It's so amazing what our minds can do. I mean, our minds can produce DMT. We don't need drugs. We just need water. I'm pretty sure we just need water to survive. I'm pretty sure based on all the fasting I did. And also like experiences of Indian monks and stuff like that. And it's possible even without water, I think, because there are some yogis and stuff in India, like who've done that. They've done scientific experiments on them and stuff. I think we can survive literally with almost nothing with our incredible mind body connection, Thanks, Gina. Thanks for the big super chat. I don't know what New Zealand dollars are worth. It says, you are so appreciated. We love your mind. You are a literal gift. Thank you. And I appreciate my name, Nathan, which means gift. I do have considerable gifts. I was a talented actor, a very good student, and a pretty decent athlete too. Not bad. Not like my brother, but my bloodline is very blessed. And so like, I want to share what gifts I can. And I was drawn to do this. I quit selling cars because I didn't find it fulfilling. I wanted to, at that time, talk about stuff like 9/11 and conspiracies and stuff, which I do think is valuable, like uncovering government secrets. Like we still need to get there. we still need to resolve 9/11. Like, we can't accept like we need to take account for the shit we've done as a country. And I kind of, in the undertones of things, of what Trump says, like, he kind of acknowledges that a little bit. Like, in the Epstein thing has to do with that. So I don't know if the Epstein stuff will ever come out. There's some news about that today. But it will expose the government if they really release the information. So, like, how do they do that? How do they expose how deep the corruption is without just totally destroying institutions and faith in institutions, and like chaos ensues? Like, that's what I'm sure the government's afraid of it. That's why they censor everything, because they're afraid of chaos and anarchy. If people just totally lose faith in the government because they realize the government is evil and hates us and only cares about power and wealth. But that's the truth, pretty much for most of them. So, all right, I have the phone open. I'll post the phone number, and then I'll invite, let's see if Defango's here. We did a long enough show. Thanks for tuning in. We're just going to see where things go. I'm going to follow my instincts, and like, which is what I used to do. So, and in as much as I have like some psychic abilities and stuff, like, it led me to the stories. I was led to different stories and able to see certain things. I believed because I was guided by forces above me, basically. You know what I mean? And like, I've fallen a long way from that creator, who revealed things that were unique. When I first started making the show, I thought to myself, like, why would anyone listen to me? Because I'm nobody. I'm not famous. I'm for anything. I was a car salesman. I sold expensive cars. Who cares? Who cares what kind of cars I sold? I was successful, but I spent all the money on drugs and hookers. Why would anybody listen to me? I thought. I said, I have to present something totally unique. Like, if I present something that's totally unique with every video, then they have to watch it because they can't get the information anywhere else. So that'll be a goal of mine, is to just provide something that's totally different. Because if I just do the news every day, I feel like I'm just doing the same shit as other people who are more famous than me, who you can watch. And like, I'm not better than them, really. I don't know. Maybe you think I am. But Jimmy Dore's great. He does the news. Russell Brand's great. He does the news. There's so many choices for where you can get people's commentary about the news, about how great Trump is, and like how terrible black people are, and whatever other bullshit is out there. There are so many channels you can hear that on. So maybe we're going to just try to do something different, just see how it goes. And then hopefully I'll get this job. I won't have to worry about money and stuff. Because I don't know, because I'm certainly not seeking viewership, because I think people want to hear the news, to tune in. I think I'm limiting my audience by going this route. I'm not covering things that are mainstream, and because the algorithm and stuff, like, I believe I'm actually limiting my audience. But hopefully it's something you just can't get anywhere else, and you become addicted to it. And it's just like a cult thing. Like, that's what I can hope. I just hope it's like the greatest thing you've ever seen. You know what I mean? And just not something that anybody else does or can do, because they haven't been through what I've been through. That's all I can say. Like, I've suffered for my art. I feel like I want to be one of the greatest artists ever, even if it's for very few people. I don't get recognition. I don't get money ever. I just want to do the best art I can, without like losing my mind ever again. So All right. I've opened the phone. I haven't posted the phone number. It's been 2 hours, but yeah, I'd be curious what people have to say. The number is 650 gay taxi. I'll share a link to stage. Okay. And then I'll share a link for somebody like Defango who wants to join by video. Happy to see Defango. Hoping to build positive relationships with streamers and stuff. Hoping to get Jaron on. He's a friend, we have a personal connection where we've met in person and everything. Defango, me and Defango go so far back, that we have to love Defango and appreciate Defango and wish the best for him. We've been enemies before. I've wished him not well before. Defango, I definitely have some issues with Defango in the past, but just because I feel like he is, but we want to move on. Positive things. The new age, the golden age. I just think there are a lot of things in the ether about us moving on. Even the Eras tour by Taylor Swift in 2023, the year I had my visions, was 2023, about the end of the world. The Eras tour, all these artists going on tour at the same time, all this music being released. And Trump talking about the golden age. Trump's talking about the golden age. The golden age is a thing. And that would be the thing. That would be our advancement to an age of not wanting, not having these desires, these desires that are sicknesses, illnesses. Desire is an illness. One of the only illnesses in the golden age is desire, and then hunger. So buy Bitcoin. That's all I can say. It's very simple. Buy $10 a week. It doesn't matter. Just start thinking about the future, please. I'd like you to be around. Too many people have died for me. We've lost so many people who do just like this or whatever, something like it. I want people to stick around. I want us to make it to 4D and experience it, and actually just I think Judgment Day is an open question. I think that's where we're at. It's either going to be Judgment Day and we're kind of destroyed, or we can move on as one humanity and seek to be more harmonious and stuff. That's why it's hard for me to cover stuff that's divisive, because I don't hate liberals. You know what I mean? A lot of people it's just a lot of what I see a lot, and the things that get clicks is being really passionately upset about something. I don't get passionately upset about what liberals do. There's some sculpture in Times Square of a fat black lady. I don't care. I think people are, I think people are really racist still in ways that they don't have to be. I really think we need to appreciate what all of our cultures bring. If we're gonna advance, we can't just keep doing this stupid divide and conquer system. We're being ruled over. We're being ruled over by other humans who seek power and control. And they rule over us by dividing us. Religions and stuff. Why would anyone hate Muslims? Yes, there are bad ones, but they follow the same God. Their message was delivered by the same angel. There are misinterpretations of religion, really bad ones. But hey, you're on the air.
Hey Nathan, it's Down at Vices. How are you?
Hey, Down at Vices, how are you?
I'm okay.
I'm great. Thank you.
Good. I know you're doing well.
Oh, good. Yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah. That's a positive affirmation.
Yeah. Well, I know you try every day, and you just want to live your life, right?
I just want to work hard doing what I want to do. what I want.
Yeah.
That's what I seek. Like I want to enjoy my life and work hard at the same time, you know, and be of service to others the way I think we should be.
Well, I think you do that every day.
I don't think I did every
And
day. You know what I mean? Um, but I always did my best. I always did my best.
what about that homeless man today that you were talking to? I'm sure you made his day better.
Yeah. I hope to. I love talking to homeless people because, you know, it's like good to, you can see they appreciate it. They appreciate just having somebody recognize them and their humanity, basically. And then most of them are into
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, and I'm into Jesus Christ. So we talk about that. You know, it's always positive, and hopefully, and maybe they want some nicotine or something. I was carrying around
Yeah.
cigarettes because they want cigarettes a lot, but I don't want to give people cigarettes. So I give people Zins or whatever, but a little money, you know, if I have some right now, I really shouldn't be giving anybody money because I really need it for my own benefit. But that too, whatever it is, like I want to uplift. I definitely want to uplift the downtrodden, just the way a Catholic should. You know, we should care about widows and orphans, and like
Yeah.
we had a society that used to take care of each other rather than relying on the government to take care of us. And now if the government stopped taking care of people, other people wouldn't do it probably, you know? So,
Yeah. Well, I mean, like there's a little progress each and every day, right? And I think too, I don't know, I heard somewhere, I watched something or heard something about not referring to homeless people as homeless.
yeah, they
Because,
call them unhoused or whatever, but who cares? Like
yeah,
words.
because a lot of them, they don't mind the position. They don't mind the position that they're in. And if you ask a lot of them, they're like, no, I'm fine where I'm
Yeah.
at.
Yeah.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
actually, I started like I was hanging out with them downtown and stuff, and I saw where they were sleeping. I was thinking to myself,
Mhm.
that's not so bad. They're like hanging out with like this guy was with his wife who's got health problems and everything, but they're together and the weather, it's not, the weather doesn't suck here. And they were hidden
Yeah.
from the sidewalk and they were able to sleep there. And I've had to now, because of having to go kind of to jail over and over again with these mental health facilities, I've had to suffer through losing my bed and my comforts and all of that. And
Mhm.
and learned that you don't need there. You know, there are a lot of creature comforts that we don't need. You know, just the way Jesus
Yeah.
tried to teach everybody. And
Yeah.
so we should be able to like we should not fear being homeless because actually it's not that bad. At least here in California, at least here where I
It's not
live,
that
it's not
bad. I
that
mean,
bad.
yeah, you sit there outside all day
Yeah.
in nature, and people give you things, so it's not that bad of a deal.
Yeah. I mean, you're still alive and you can appreciate
Yeah.
life. And I was singing songs with, you know, people have, you know, this guy,
Right.
they have guitars and stuff sometimes. And, you know, they're,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
had to accept like maybe like okay, maybe I'll just be home, yeah, and live
Yeah.
and be happy, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a guy I used to talk to, and because I work late and I get home like, I'm up past midnight and 1, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning and stuff. And I used to stop and talk to this one guy, and he had like 10 blankets and stuff and this and that. And I would talk to him, and he would tell me like crazy shit too. He'd tell me stuff like, "Oh, he drinks this liquid called like pure body nourishment or something."
Huh.
I don't know what it was. It was like pure liquid nourishment. That's what he would tell. He would tell me stuff like that. That he drinks this liquid called pure liquid nourishment, and I was like, okay, cool,
Hmm.
Um, and we would talk about this and that, or just whatever. He reminded me a lot of my dad, so I think that's why I was drawn to him.
Hmm.
He's got the big long hair and big beard and stuff.
Hmm.
Kind of a rebel, and my dad kind of was like that.
Hmm.
But I went and I was talking to a police officer, and I said, this. He goes, believe it or not, he's happy just where he is. And
Yeah.
He goes, I talked to him, you know, I tried to get him into a shelter and all this and that. He goes, he doesn't want to. He's fine where he's at.
Yeah,
And that's okay.
some of us like to be alone for one thing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? A lot of people just like to be left alone. And so shelters don't work, you know, and shelters are problematic because the people in there are kind of might be way crazier than you are. Like you might be a kind of sane homeless person, or at least you're okay on your own, but you might not get along with other people. So a shelter's not necessarily going to be what you want to do. So like it might
No.
aggravate
And
you being around other people.
right. And who's really watching the shelter? You know what I mean?
Right,
Like,
exactly. People use drugs in
you know,
there and stuff.
yeah, you can get, you know, a woman can go to a shelter to be safe and end up getting raped. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly.
It's just, yeah,
Yeah.
you know,
So,
yeah, you gotta be careful these days.
yep. Yeah.
Um, so, I don't know. Yeah, everything's just, I think we can all just admit that things are just really weird.
Do you think so?
Yeah, yeah, I think things are weird. People don't really know what to do with themselves.
Mhm.
It's almost like you know, because we were so dependent on the government and all this kind of stuff, and then we had a lot of changes overnight. You know, a lot of things being taken away, good and bad, and things like that. But I don't think, and then like there's all this, people now are exchanging ideas freely, which is, I
Right.
think, the way that it's supposed to go, right?
Right. Like we're getting back to like it's something I wished for. I was like, maybe it's like I kept thinking everybody kept saying, and I took I never went that route. Everybody kept saying, oh, the censorship's just going to get worse and worse and worse, and we're all going to get censored until we can't say anything at all. Everyone just kept saying that. And I thought to
Yeah,
myself, well, that's such a defeatist way to think. You know, that's why I kept trying so many different avenues for getting the information out. You know, I was on all the different platforms. But I was like, you know, it's possible things will change. I was like, things change. And you learn that in if you study Hermetic law and stuff and polarity,
yeah,
is like there's a pendulum. Things change. Like it can go back. Like we can go back to and that's kind of what's happening now is information is becoming more available and more people are communicating and sharing their stories, personal stories. And a lot of that's because of the advent of stuff like TikTok, you know, and YouTube shorts and stuff like that, podcasts.
and that's how it should be.
Yeah, yeah. Like that's what I seek is like the open exchange of information. Like we should like we want to debate. We want to have open debates and like that's how we're going to find the truth and advance and evolve. Not if we restrict information and communications. So
Right.
yeah,
But I agree with you too. It's like, what information do you trust? What information do you not trust? Right?
yeah, right. Well, that just takes discernment, which is something that is you have to pray for, really. Oops, lost him right at 9 minutes and 12 seconds. Hey, are you calling back?
Dude, I hung up on you by accident.
Oh, that's all
Sorry.
right. It was right almost at exactly 9 minutes and 11 seconds, which is weird.
Uh, yeah, the number shit's got to stop with me too.
Yeah.
I get the I don't know.
Yeah, I just get on timelines where like all I see is repeating numbers. Like I pull so today I was back on that on the 33. Like I'll see 33, I'll see 911, you know, and like today I pulled out and I was right behind a 33, saw a couple more of them on the road. And that's just it's just like the statistics for seeing that it's 1 in 100 just seeing it. And so and yeah, you see plenty of cars if you look and stuff, and your eyes are drawn to particular things. But I saw
Right.
111, I saw 20, you know what I mean? It's like certain things like were kept happening. I was just on this it was just, I was seeing it so much that it would be disturbing to maybe a regular person, how much I was
Yeah.
experiencing like repeating numbers in 33s.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm having a lot of stuff come out for me when I, you know, go when I'm purchasing something.
Yeah.
When the final purchase
Yeah.
will
Yeah.
come out to a weird number that,
Yeah. Where it's like, where it's totally random chance.
mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
I was having that happen too. It was crazy. I would pull up to a gas station. It was like I pulled up to a gas station and somebody had put in exactly, it was like exactly 14, it was 14 gallons exactly and $70 exactly. And I was like,
yeah.
what are the odds of that? You know?
I don't know. It almost makes you wonder. It's like, who's really in control? Who's messing around with things? You know?
It's a holographic matrix, kind of very clearly. It's an invention of our own consciousness
Hmm.
or subconscious minds. It's
Yeah,
changeable. I've seen it now, you know, for myself. It's just it can change this hologram.
yeah. But you say something like you say stuff like these people want to hurt you or hurt me and you and people like us.
Hmm.
And what do we do about that?
We have to just learn how to transmute, like, and fight back, and like be able to protect
Yeah,
and be able to protect ourselves. You know, ward those evil spirits off, and we can do that by, you know, turning over our life to Jesus Christ for one thing. I think, but
yeah,
also like there's just karmic law too. You just have to, if you're going to get into battle with the dark forces, you need to clean your karma and just be very strict with yourself, because they'll use karmic law against you. That's all. So and we all sin, you know, and there are many ways to do that that aren't even commonly thought of. So you have to just be really try to work on your karma all the time so that they can't, like, if your karma is clean, like karmic, the law is that they can't hurt you in a real way. You know, you might suffer,
yeah,
but they can't hurt you. And so I've learned in my battles, eventually I learned, you know, it's a mental game. They just try to torture you mentally to make you
right.
hurt yourself or torture yourself. Or, you know, ultimately, a lot of people online want to make people kill themselves, especially people who are unstable like me. Um,
Yeah, those people are called losers.
yeah,
They're called losers.
they want
You
other
know?
people to suffer because they have some lack in their own lives. You know, they
Yeah,
like to see other people suffer, and they feed off of it like vampires.
it's terrible.
It is
It
terrible.
really is.
Yeah, we're in a, and we must battle we must battle those forces as much as we can.
Yeah, I mean, I shouldn't even feel bad about calling these people losers, but that's what they are.
Yeah,
When you cannot, when your pure focus is trying to ruin somebody else's life just because your life sucks, I'm
right.
sorry, you're a loser.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah, I learned about that. I learned about that when I started making like more money and stuff. It's like people at work, like the technicians and stuff, suddenly were didn't like me, and like it's like when you get more successful, like haters, you know, you just learn about haters,
yeah,
and it's true.
yeah,
People are haters,
yep,
and a lot of people attacked me, and truthers would attack each other just because of jealousy. You know, like people were upset that I got so much like traffic on my channel when I started out. So they would make videos
right,
attacking me, you know, just because they're
yeah,
like, oh, we don't like that he's getting views and he's more popular than me, you know?
right. Instead of making their content better or
Yeah.
different or something that to help them, they try to take you down and make your stuff bad.
Yeah,
It's
and I would notice like particularly truthers and stuff, always have something negative to say. Well, it's just like always somebody would be a shill, or if they were popular, there was automatically something wrong with them. And there are still a lot of people like that out in the different communities. Like they like, oh, if somebody's popular, like they're a shill or they're an agent or whatever, and they would just like disregard people who have popular shows. And I think that's kind of changing now. I think it's better now. But like truthers used to all attack each other. It's just infighting and stuff. People accusing other people of being agents or shills, or just so
it is fucking
tiresome.
comical. Like it is comical. I listen to Hoax Wars sometimes, and I used to listen to him years ago. Sort of got into him, never really paid much attention to him, only through listening through you. But some of the stuff he talks about, I'm like, I don't even know what the hell this dude's talking about. He's talking about drama within the hoax community. I'm like, I can't even follow this.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, what are we even like? Why is this what we're doing? Why are we just showing people fighting with each other? Like, why is that content? Like, who cares? Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And what's this I hear about? Jeranism is no longer a flat earther?
Yeah, he went to Antarctica and experienced the 24-hour sun, and maybe because of some other things as well, has determined, as far as he's told me, that the Earth is definitely a globe. That's what he told me. So I'm trying to get him on the show because he is a friend of mine. I think, and he seeks the truth. I know that. So I know I'm never going to accuse him of saying something that he doesn't think is true. I believe he believes that now. So because of my beliefs about the holographic nature of this matrix, I think it might be more complicated than that. So I'm still very open-minded about whether it's flat, technically flat, technically round, technically a torus. I mean, who knows? I mean, either way, it's just a simulation. So it's not like what they say. It's not like what they say. I know that. It's not like what they say.
It doesn't seem like what we were taught.
No, there's no way the stars would stay. There's no way the stars would stay in the same place if we were throttling through the galaxy at whatever speed they say we're going and everything's like spiraling around us. Like there's no way stars would follow like a 28,000 year consistent pattern and we would see no parallax and stuff like that. There's no way. There's just no way. And like we wouldn't even like the fact that they say we can see the Milky Way, we wouldn't see the Milky Way if we're in the Milky Way. We would just see stars. So it's like all that stuff is kind of crazy.
Wait. I never even thought about that. How could we see the Milky Way if we're in the fucking Milky Way?
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't make sense. Like so, there's a lot of things, and like dark matter, I don't think is real, and gravity, the theory of gravity, I think is incorrect. I just think it's more electromagnetism and stuff, which doesn't require dark matter. So I think there are things that are wrong with the science, for sure. And whether we're flat, and I think somehow things revolve around us more than us revolving around the sun exactly. So I'm still very, very open-minded about the nature of this planet, of this thing we call our planet.
Yeah, because it seems like if we're some sort of like fallen angel, but we're grounded, that's why our feet are connected to the ground, for some reason,
Yeah.
We're made to just stay put.
Right.
For some reason.
Right. Things fall toward the earth, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But
the good thing is we're able to ask these questions today, and we're able to have these conversations today, and not have to worry about what the consequences might be. There probably will be consequences, but these consequences are from the dark, evil people that eventually buzz off and fuck off and go away, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Eventually, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's somebody in the chat right now who's trolling because he doesn't like that we're talking shit about hoax wars. But
I
and
don't care.
I'm thinking about
Give him my
banning.
phone number.
I'm thinking about banning
Give him
them.
my phone number and
But
tell
I
him
could
to call
also just
me.
let him live. Like I generally don't ban people.
I'm talking shit on hoax wars.
That's all right.
Get over it.
That channel's
Get over
its
it.
own. That channel's following its own design.
I mean, hey, maybe they should look at it like this. Maybe I'm bringing hoax wars some traffic.
I thought you know what? It used to be my favorite channel. It just changed. I just don't understand it just doesn't interest me. It doesn't mean it doesn't interest other people. Just it's not my it doesn't I don't see what I still tune in too. It used to be my favorite show. I think he's a very talented artist, very inventive. But the current thing I just don't understand. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I always liked him. I have no idea what he looks like. I know what he sounds like, but I always enjoyed talking to him. I think he's very smart.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's really smart. I think a lot of the people he talks to are very smart and intelligent.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And hey, if he want, let him do his thing. We'll do our thing. I'm doing my thing. Like, people just need to get over shit and just live their lives.
Yeah. So we seek harmony. So
we seek harmony.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, I do still have some things to do at work.
Okay, man. Well, thanks for calling in. It's great to hear from you. Thanks for the affirmative comments and stuff. Appreciate it.
Well, I believe it all to be true.
Okay, cool, man.
Okay.
Appreciate
I'll talk to you later.
All right. Talk to you later. See ya. I'm not anyway, it doesn't matter regarding the comments in the chat. Tom Fleury says the Earth could be a geocentric sphere, but it's not flat. The trip to Antarctica proved it. Well, I've seen flat Earth maps that show a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. So I wonder how they imagine that. But yeah, I always knew that was a problem. The map is wrong. I knew that for a long time because it doesn't work in the Southern Hemisphere at all. You just wouldn't have summer anywhere in the Southern Hemisphere because the sun takes like longer to go around. So it only works in the Northern Hemisphere, the flat Earth map that everybody uses and that Dave Weiss sells the app for and stuff. It only works in the Northern Hemisphere. The Southern Hemisphere, it wouldn't have summer and stuff if that was the map. I've always known that. So I always knew it was a problem. I always knew there was a 24-hour sun in Antarctica because I just took their word for it. Or I didn't always know, but I just figured I was like, I don't know if they really cover. I kind of think it's I don't know. And then I saw, but I didn't know for sure because there are a lot of secrets about Antarctica too. I didn't know for sure, but then that major content creator, the biggest one, went there. The biggest one, whoever it is, that young guy, he went to Antarctica during the summer and it was a 24-hour sun. And I was like, okay, I don't think he's lying. And I was like, so the map's wrong. There is no map that is acceptable. There is no flat Earth map that's acceptable. The globe concept is probably more acceptable in most cases. Probably. I don't know for sure. But yeah, I'm open-minded about it. I'm curious to discuss it further at greater length. Well, thanks guys for staying tuned in. I can see the person who had a concern earlier was like, after watching one of the last videos, and yeah, I get it. The last video was particularly insane. And I was actually going to delete that one. I'm going to delete those videos. The ones that are like alive or not ? Or whatever. That was insane. So I'm going to delete that one. I intentionally am leaving the other stuff up just because I just like, I'm just being open about it. I have mental health problems. I've had them. I've just had them periodically. I have manic episodes, which are like kind of like being schizophrenic, but they call it a manic episode, bipolar 1 or whatever. So I'm not technically schizophrenic. I just have episodes, which are kind of schizophrenic. But you can say, oh, at least I don't have schizophrenic breakdowns. It's a feature of my mind. I've been allowed to have visions, out of body visions because of and revelations because of my episodes. It's just that it doesn't work well for my personal relationships, doesn't work well for my communication skills. I don't want to be rageful. I don't want to be hateful. And I don't want to upset other people and all those things. It just doesn't help with that. And it becomes very self-serving. Those manic episodes become very self-serving. And for which I have to always sacrifice or be punished in some way. And I deserve it because I'm like disobeying God and stuff. It's wrong. But it's also hard. Like in a lot of ways, it's not my fault. Like in a lot of ways, it's not my fault that I've ruined so many relationships and stuff because I'm like, there's something wrong. There's something wrong with the way my brain works, kind of. Like, I don't know if it's because of multiple head traumas, which I've had, very serious ones, or drug use, which I did in great quantities, or what. I don't know if it was like if it happened because of something I did or if I was just going to be that way. And it just happened to happen like late in my life. But yeah, without medication, I have a manic episode. I'm kind of schizophrenic. But what am I going to say? Like, it's life. Like people have problems. I have problems. I have struggles. I'm just being open and honest about it. I'm not afraid to show it to people. And where previously I like deleted all the content, I kind of left it up this time because that's me. Like that's me. That's me. Like you've seen my flaws. Other people have problems too. Other people's problems are way worse than mine. So I can't take offense. You can say, oh, at least I haven't had, at least I don't have a schizophrenic meltdown. Well, sorry. Like I wish I didn't either. I hated it too. But I'm loose. I'm really good when I'm good. I know that. I know when I'm really good, that I'm really good. And I feel a lot better. I feel like I've learned a lot of things that are going to help me be better. So I'm happy with the show I'm doing right now, at least over the last couple of days. So we'll see how it goes from here on out. But I'm happy with the content I'm doing personally, which is important for me. So yeah, the THC vapes, I was hitting those hard right before I started going to the Lucifer thing and selling my soul and stuff. I was hitting those vapes way too much. And who knows what's in them? Who knows what's in that stuff? The cannabis is dangerous. So if it can be a lesson for anybody, be careful with it. Hey, you're on the air.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm okay. It could be better. I'm kind of going through it too.
Yeah, I think a lot of us are. We're in a difficult time, I think. So like what I'm experiencing is probably not unique also.
Yeah, because people bullying everybody and acting a fool.
Yeah, right.
But one thing you brought up, I wanted to ask you about, because like with the flat Earth thing and like with Antarctica,
yeah,
like I know this is kind of like going into something weird because it's about like an old movie. Like I remember seeing like back before, how they deleted a whole bunch of videos. I remember there was this one person that was saying something about like instead of it being like a flat Earth, like there being like a hole, and like there being something around in Antarctica where they were like saying that there was like a way that you could go into it, kind of like that old movie or that old book. like where there was supposed to be like something up inside, like where they could go up in there. And they were talking about like giants and crap. But I'm trying to think, it was this old movie, They Live. They were saying that like that weird thing with the aliens, and one part about that, like they, you know how they would like have the little watch thing where they could vanish and go somewhere, and there was like an underground thing up in there.
I
remember.
I don't know the movie you're referring to, but there probably is lots of secret shit going on in Antarctica.
You didn't watch that old movie They Live with Roddy Piper, the wrestler?
Oh yeah, They Live. There's something about Antarctica in that, or did I lose?
Yeah, one of the old videos that used to be on YouTube, there was like this one guy that had a theory where he was saying that the way that the little alien bad guys would vanish and had something to do with the crack in the earth type situation or whatever, like where there was supposed to be something in Antarctica and they were like underground. Because remember, there was one part where the two hero characters went down trying to find the bad guys, and it was like they had a whole different little setup and stuff in the movie. But like that movie kind of touched on a bunch of different little weird topics real fast. I wish they had did a part 2 or something to that, or some type of continuation or a TV show or something.
Yeah, well, it revealed something kind of true, right? Which is that there's like something other than human that's trying to be in control of this place.
That sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. So how are you doing?
At least they kind of. Oh, what you say again?
What's that?
What did you say again?
Just now?
I was going to try to make a joke and stuff, but
I can't remember.
Like, if there was like,
I can't remember.
If there's some aliens like rip running around, we gotta like hope that like we could either kick their butts or they like kind of like not really tripping any worse than they already tripping over.
Right. I think there may be alien races that are seeking dominance of this planet, to be honest with you, through telepathy and other means. I mean, I think it's possible that there are alien forces controlling human beings here on Earth, reptilian and otherwise. I don't think that's beyond
the reptile thing. That sucks. Like that movie V. Because, like, what if you slept with one of them? Like, that's kind of, like, creepy.
Yeah.
Like, that's some creepy crap. Like I remember, like, I used to smoke green. And, like, one time I was hanging with this girl that had, like, some super green. And, like, we were making love. And she, like, creeped me out because she looked purple and shit. Like,
really?
Yeah. So that just freaked me out. So, like, could you imagine if you slept with some, like, elite chick you didn't know?
Well,
she's like a lizard chick.
People have accused me of being a shapeshifter. So people have told me, like, my eyes turn black and stuff, the way they talk about. So I've been told that before. So I don't know. Maybe I'm one of them.
Hopefully I'm not picking on you, though. Like,
well, yeah.
Because that's some bull crap. If somebody tell you, like, you something, like, they could have just been tripping balls. Like,
maybe.
You know?
Yeah,
like,
maybe. But it was people who liked me who told me that. So, yeah. So I don't know. Yeah.
So maybe they were scared or something.
And then I believe
but you know your eyes.
What's that?
Like, can't your pupils change if you get, like, high off of certain crap? Like, if you was, like, sitting up, like, that could have been it.
Yeah.
Well, like, maybe your pupils are dilated or something.
Yeah, sure.
But at least it was somebody that liked you and stuff. But that's still messed up if somebody that liked you tell you something weird.
Told me my eyes turned completely black.
Did something crazy happen then when that happened? Like, was somebody messing with you or something?
No.
Or was it like, did it go back to normal afterwards?
I don't know. I didn't get into it very deeply. The person was like just telling me, they're like, oh, there's something different about you. Like when we were doing this one thing, like your eyes were like black, and it wasn't in a bad way, I guess, but don't know.
I don't know.
But yeah, I believe there may be some competition amongst aliens to take over this planet. And there may be some council of alien races that are trying to come together and not fight over it. But I think it's possible that there are different alien species that have been seeking to control different aspects of this planet and humanity, feed off of us.
But I heard two different things about like the gray aliens. Like I heard one story about it having something to do with the air dirigibles and stuff. Like, I don't know if you heard about that Battle for LA situation and stuff, where there was supposed to be like some different little dudes from Japan or whatever that were like flying in some little, I don't know, like some little air things or whatever, and some of them got shot down. They said that those dudes were said to be the aliens or whatever, because it was just some little smaller dudes or whatever. And that was one cover up that I heard. But then there was another thing, right? Because they talk about the little gray aliens and stuff, like, like the chariots of the gods. I don't know if you ever saw that old document. I remember seeing that when I was a little kid. That freaked me out. The part where they talked about the people on the farm and like the couple were like in a little Winnebago or whatever. They looked like a grocery getter or whatever. And they got surrounded by aliens. They paint the little gray aliens, like if they really exist like that, those little things they sound mean and nightmarish. Like I'd much rather think it was some little Japanese dudes in a floating dirigible and they just covered it up and was like, yeah, they got some cool little floating device and stuff. So we just take their little thing and just bury it at Area 51 and stuff. Like I'd rather it be that than be some legit little mean little dudes that float and like cut holes in the like cows and whatever, and just do a random thing.
No, I think gray aliens do experiment on our animals. I do think gray aliens are the ones responsible for the medical stuff. And they're different from our progenitor race, the Pleiadian, what are referred to as Pleiadian aliens. But yeah, I believe the gray aliens do experiment on us medically. I believe they're the medical ones.
I talked to one of my favorite Spider-Man authors and stuff from like the 90s or whatever. And like he had this story that I remember was in one of his issues, because I collect all of the books that he does. And I remember I messaged him about something because like people were saying that like his name's Eric Larson, but anyways, like, you know how they had different rights over the books and whatnot and stuff, like, but somebody was like saying that they don't want to pay him for putting out action figures for characters that he created or whatever. And I was showing them that people were making customs of some of his characters. But I ended up asking him about his alien story, because he said when him and two of his buddies were like 13 or 14 in like Indiana or whatever, before he moved like on the West Coast or whatever, he said that they were walking along the road in like the country land area and stuff, and they saw a spaceship. And he said that him and his buddy ran for the trees to hide, and one friend didn't run fast enough, and the light, like there was a light coming from the spaceship that they saw, but his friend got froze in fear and got caught in the light. And he said that buddy died early of some type of cancer.
Oh, really?
Getting caught in the light. Yeah.
Interesting.
But the thing is, the story that he had, I could never find it. But I messaged him and asked him about it, and he gave me a hint to find it on Facebook. And he had rewrote it and he posted it up and stuff. So I finally got to like read that again, because like I thought that was one of the cooler alien stories from the Midwest, but like nobody remembers it. And it like, well, I guess I'm getting to tell it to you now because you're doing the show, thank God. But like I thought that was a really cool alien story, because he's not like a crackpot type character and stuff. So like I think that should be like in the lexicon. I wish that somebody would interview him. You know? Because a lot of the old creators, they getting like older, but he was a real good Spider-Man artist. Like he was an artist and writer.
Those guys are very inventive. They come up with real stories. People make graphic novels and stuff. Particularly,
you should keep out some of his stuff.
Yeah. I was never into comic books, but I see why they're valuable. Like, because they tell these like ancient stories, like they kind of retell like stories about gods and the nature of things and stuff. These creatures.
You might get a kick out of old Jack Kirby books, like his New Guy stories and everything, because he liked Chariots of the God, that documentary and book and whatnot, but he used to put it into a different version of characters and stuff. Like he worked on like the Fantastic Four, because they're doing a movie for that now and stuff. But a lot of that type of stuff, like the X-Men and everything, he came up with a bunch of that stuff, like the Thor comic book and everything. Like he had his hand in Captain America, all types of different stuff, but he never got his credit. Kind of like Steve Ditko. Like Steve Ditko was like the guy who helped come up with Spider-Man, and he didn't really get a lot of credit. But like guys who worked on a franchise later, like Todd McFarlane and Eric Larson, who I just told you about with the Alien story, like those guys got more credit, like, but there's like all types of different products that a lot of them never benefited from. Like I told you, they didn't want to let him get some of the action figures made for some of his characters because they didn't want to pay him any royalties. Like they kind of mean like that. Right. So I don't know how the heck, I don't even know who they even pay or if they pay most of the other guys.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame the way artists are treated in a lot of different professions, for what they create, really. Like they create an idea, like all of the profit is based on their idea, which came from their minds, which is theirs. And they end up making just a very small fraction of what is made overall in a lot of cases. So it's sad.
Yeah, that's kind of heartbreaking.
Yeah, I think it's getting better with people being able to post things independently. But yeah, it's one of the terrible things about how the music industry was and everything is just that actual creators are not rewarded, And so
yeah, like I think it happens with a bunch of people that come up with like original stuff, like John Carpenter coming up with Big Trouble in Little China, and you be thinking like, well, how come that's not a franchise? How come there's not more of those? Like They Live. How come they're not making more? Like even though that's a remake, but his remake was so different and stuff. Like They Live, that was a good movie. He had a whole bunch of different stuff that you be wishing that they made more of.
Well, sometimes they don't want. Sometimes it's better not to. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if we needed a Goonies 2, for example. So sometimes it's better not to make a sequel. So like it's good to appreciate stuff that comes out without doing that.
Are they doing a Goonies 2?
I think they already did. Yeah, I think so. I thought they maybe already did, and it was unremarkable. I'm not sure, but I heard for a long time they were planning to do a Goonies 2. But there's certain things where it's like the original is so good and so iconic that just creating a sequel or a remake or something is not, like you don't want to see a remake of something that's already great,
But you might want to see a continuation.
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
all
sure.
right, the Lost Boys.
I love a good trilogy.
Like with the Frog Brothers.
I love a good trilogy, but I like it when it's set up in advance to be that way. You know what I mean? But yeah, I love a good
I don't know if I ever brought this up to you, but like, did you ever think about this one aspect of the old Lost Boys movie? Because that was a good action horror movie back in the day. Like action comedy movie.
Excellent.
The grandpa.
Yeah, he was great.
The grandpa. He already knew about the vampires and he didn't say anything to his daughter or his grandsons. He kind of let them go through a whole adventure when he could have helped them and stuff like. So that whole thing about him kind of creeped me out because at the end of it, he helped kill the bad guy, but it was like, why didn't he say anything?
Right.
It reminds me of something. Right? Like, you know how like, all right, I've had an experience with one monstrosity on Earth in the Midwest. You know how they talk about those Mothman things? Like the giant moths? What if I told you one time I got invited with a girl that I was engaged to go camping with her father and her stepmom? or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they didn't tell us about giant moths being on the road. And one of them got into the car and we were like in the middle of nowhere, close to the destination.
But like real
And
moths.
a huge like
moths.
a giant one, like it was horrific. We rode with the thing in the car with us until we got to the meet up spot at the gas station. There were no lights. We couldn't pull a car over. We had to just ride with the monster in the car. And when we got out of we got out of the car at the gas station, she was freezing up like she was about to poop. And we fought the thing because it was on her back, unfurling like angel. It was a giant moth. Like I never saw anything that big. Yeah, it's kind of cool, but you don't not tell me. Do you like? I got mad at her dad after that because he downplayed it. Like he reminded me of the grandpa of Lost Boys because he didn't tell us like
about the giant moth.
Like, dude, it was gonna fly off with your daughter. You didn't tell me there were monsters out here. Why didn't you tell me?
I hear you.
Like, I don't know. Like, that's my one. Well, I don't know. I got a couple other horrific stories and stuff too. I got a ghost story too that was weird as hell.
Well, what do you think? Save it for another day? We had a good call.
Yeah, that would be cool if you want to hear the ghost story.
Okay. Go ahead. It's already been 17 minutes, but go ahead.
No, like I could call in some other time.
Go ahead. Let's hear the ghost story. The moth story was pretty good, but not. But you were kind of being a pussy because moths are part of God's creation. They're not gonna kill you.
No, it was on my girlfriend's back. I wasn't prepared for seeing something that we broke his wig off.
All right, go ahead with your ghost story, please. Let's wrap this up, sir. It's been a long show. Go ahead with your ghost story, please.
All right. When I was really little, when I was like 5 and my sister was like 2, and I had a cousin that was like 11, right? We took a picture on Halloween and we would buy like the scary hallway. And my grandmother, rest in peace, she took a picture of us, right? And I was like the third one. My sister was in the middle. Obviously, my sister is shorter than me. My grandmother took like 2 or 3 pictures. And in the second picture, I'm looking up because I was dressed like a pirate. My little sister was dressed like a clown. And my lame big cousin was dressed like a preppy. But in the picture, my sister's feet are by my head and I'm looking up, holding my little pirate sword, like about to start trying to fight. But in the picture, there was like a dude looked like the Burger King holding my little sister up in the picture.
Really?
There was only 4 of us. Yeah. Like that picture, my grandmother, when she developed the picture, she gave him to my dad and he like locked him up and hid him in his desk.
Really? Interesting.
And like my mom thought my dad was cheating or something and she was trying to get in and she got in and found the scary pictures, creeped herself out. And then she left me and the big cousin because my big cousin forgot about them damn pictures. And she looked at the pictures and was having like an existential crisis.
Really?
And like now I'm like 6 and I'm looking at the pictures and I'm like, what the hell is the King Vitamin or something holding my little sister? Because it didn't make any sense because we were in Chicago.
Right. And you don't remember someone holding her up in some kind of costume or outfit?
No, I remember wanting to fight because I'm more alert than them. Like the chicks in my family are half retarded, and I'm like Conan, like I'm Link, I'm fighting. Like even as a little kid, like I was in the picture, I was like I didn't have nothing but a cardboard sword, but I was ready to fight the little ghost thing holding my sister. Like I was looking. Everybody else is just like, you know, NPCs. Like, but anyways, that's my one ghost story.
Okay, good one. I like it. All right, hey man, thanks for the call. Good to hear from you again.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you're okay, man. Just be safe out there.
Yeah, I'm doing my best. Praise God. Doing my best.
That's cool. That's cool, man. Don't worry, everything gonna work out, man.
Okay, good. I like to hear that.
All right, stay up. 1.
All right.
Oh, I forgot to say Merry Epoxy Clips. I used to always say that with our calls.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Any apocalypse reference is welcome on this show.
No, that's just a Mad Max joke, man.
Okay. All right.
Like, we gonna win.
Right. All right, dude.
All right.
Thanks
stay
for the
up,
call.
1.
All right. Thanks, man. See ya. It's good to hear from people. All right, good. We got a few calls. Hey, things are going great. Got lots of super chats this show, which is really appreciated. Thank you. If you don't want to give your money to YouTube and you want to donate it another way, you can go to, you can go get our t-shirts still, which I run the banner for under the thing. We still have great t-shirts. They're still for sale. We still got to sell them. Got an order today, which is great. So if you'd like to support the show, that's a great way to do it. Otherwise, and we might make more t-shirts if people buy enough. And we start getting more people tuned in and we have a real show again. Cash App is $ LTV411. That's the best. They take no fee and it's instantaneous. Buymeacoffee.com/lifttheveil is also great. And you can become a member there as well. And you become a member on YouTube as well. And I really appreciate it. I've been getting some financial support, which is great, especially considering we don't have that many people tuned in. Thanks, Adam, who I hadn't shouted out earlier for the $4.99 super chat. It says, get a bagel on me. Bagel's like $10. No, but I appreciate it. Here in California, things are expensive, but thank you for the $5 donation. I really appreciate it. Thanks for any financial support you guys give me in this time. I really appreciate it. Once again, just pray for me that I am able to overcome my driving deficits and just get a job, delivery driving, which is what I want to do. Let's hope that happens. And then I can just do that and still do a show, I think. Because I did that before and I think I'll be able to support myself, I think. So let's hope that comes through. And then, and also if you want some kind of consultation with me, either cryptocurrency or otherwise, that would certainly be a welcome exchange of things, money for time. If you want to pay me for my time, just to talk to me about whatever you want. I'm an expert at cryptocurrency and I think about lots of things, which you might think I'm an expert at or might be able to talk to you about. You can do that. Just text me for now until I set up a schedule or anything if you want to do that. That's at 650-429-8294, 650-GAY-TAXI. So thanks, Spaldo. Thanks for posting the link. Thanks, everybody. Hey, no problem, Tink, who said, sorry you were offended. No problem. I shouldn't have been. It should have been clear that you probably watched one of my last episodes. And actually, thanks for telling me that show, the way the channel comes up on YouTube, that was showing up as like the first video and it was insane. So I removed it. And I was planning to remove that video because it was particularly insane. The other videos where I was insane, I left it up because maybe there was something people can learn from those. There was still maybe something interesting that happens in those, even when I was crazy, which is part of the problem. Because even when I'm crazy, sometimes I'm like actually totally seem sane. I'm leaving those up kind of for now. So, but thanks for that last one there's no value in having it up. It was just nonsense. So I took it down. Thanks for that. And thanks for your concern. I appreciate anybody who's concerned about me, who genuinely cares about me, because, that actually feeds me as a vampiric entity who practices black magic. I feed off of your positive energy. Maybe that's not black magic. Maybe that's okay white magic. I feed off your positive energy rather than your suffering, the way vampires do, the way negative entities do. And I hope to reciprocate with a positive energy and love of my own, which I put out psychically and hopefully through this show. So thanks everybody. Almost 3 hours and we did an hour and a half. So we're very motivated, obviously, to make content. So thanks for tuning in and thanks for the love and support. I'm reading your comments. Thank you for your comments. Go ahead and leave them. I'm interested in knowing your thoughts about all and everything. I hope it was a provocative topic and show for you. It was for me. That's it. Thanks for the calls too. Appreciate you guys, and praise God. Praise our Father for this wonderful and perfect creation, which we are seeking to improve a little bit. The fallen angels here who have been suffering for a while. Okay. All right, guys. So we'll see you at the next one, but maybe see you at sunrise tomorrow, 6 a.m. my time, 9 a.m. Eastern time. That's what I have been doing. So maybe a walk and talk in the morning if I'm feeling up to it. For now, that's what it is.